hardly any of the clocks work.
That's true.
It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah, but why did they say it's like a Swiss watch? And you're
So
saying
that's the paradox. Actually, they wanted to get my watch fixed, and I had to send it to a friend of mine in Italy. Because the shop that fixes clocks had a clock in the front window that was broken.
it's not a good sign. Actually,
I kind of like the idea, because everybody is so, shall we say, exact here, that it's nice to find something that isn't exact.
Right.
I was really happy, speaking as an Italian.
Good. So here goes our promo once more before we have a formal start. So here we are with 7th session of this seminar. And so far in this seminar, we have heard wonderful ideas, wonderful takeaways. We have taken a lot of ideas, a lot of activities. The best thing about it is that so far all the sessions have been very, very practical, close to real life situations, what actually teachers face inside the classrooms. And all these ideas, I would say that more than 95% of these ideas are related to film and how to execute film-related activities inside the classroom. We can't say thank you enough for our presenters. They have been coming here with lots of experience, preparations, and great ideas. This is what I can say based on the comments that we have been receiving from our attendees during last 5 or 6 days. And those are just overwhelming, I can say. So today we have Dr. Muhammad Haseen Ahmed. Dr. Muhammad Haseen Ahmed is here in Saudi Arabia. He has been teaching in King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah. So I would like to invite Dr. Muhammad Haseen Ahmed here, and we'll ask him some questions about his work, about his pace of work. So, Dr. Muhammad, could you please?
Yeah, I'm all ears. Yes, please go ahead.
All right, okay. So, please tell our audiences something about yourself. That would be great if we hear from you.
Something specific or in general? What exactly would you like to know about me? I mean, you all introduced me as I'm one of the instructors at King Abdulaziz University, based in Jeddah. I've been teaching for a couple of decades now. I mean, it's like the whole life spent into teaching. And I've been enjoying my profession. because I happen to be fortunate enough to share the platform with guys like you, luminaries from ELT, and that's what is the biggest incentive that I find. And I have been, participating in all those sessions, and really I got so enriched with the kind of varied experiences from all corners. And definitely, I mean, like a film, I have been an avid film goer for whole life, and I never thought that once in my life I'm going to, deliberate so much upon how to incorporate film into teaching, especially
That's
EFL, and yeah.
Right. So, what we understand about King Abdulaziz University, that it is an old institute.
Yeah, it's one of the oldest, largest, and we are, by leaps and bounds. I started with a couple of teachers. Now we are 300 plus, and it's it's a great place to be.
Mm-hmm.
We've grown.
So you have seen the evolution of your department.
Almost, yes. My evolution along with institution evolution.
And we are glad to have you here.
Thank you so much.
So thank you for this brief introduction about your work. It's 2 decades long. Introduction about your place of work. It's ELI, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Language
Yeah, it used to be
Institute,
ELC, but now it's known as ELI, English Language Institute.
ELI has been doing a lot of good conferences, like in the near past.
Yeah, of course, it's a prime mover, and it's one of the TESOL community, not only sympathizer, but also promoter. And we have been hosting a lot of conferences, and we have our own SIG, and we also have TESOL Arabia, and of course, fortunately, our dean is the chief. He's the one who is heading this TESOL Arabia for this year.
That's great. So, with this little bit background, without further ado, I would like to hand over the platform to Dr. Muhammad. Dr. Muhammad, I have already made you the co-host for this session. We are waiting for your wonderful ideas.
Okay, I believe it's being already recorded from your side, yeah?
Exactly.
Okay, so I don't need to, yeah? I'm not supposed to.
You don't need to record that. We are going live on Facebook, and we are also recording.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. So, good evening, gentlemen. I'm going to
evening, sir.
Share my screen to begin with, and I hope that it's being seen by everyone.
Yes, we can see that.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yes, please.
So now it's further expanded, and I think it's in the right shape. Yeah. It's welcome to my channel, right?
What we can see, it looks like a kind of desktop.
Oh, sorry. Actually, this has to be
or something like that.
Yeah, different. I mean, I have to share something else. So stop share, and I'm going to share basic. Okay, this is here. All right. So now it's visible to you, right? Yeah.
Yes, we can see that.
Yes.
Exactly.
So actually, this is my own channel. I happen to have a video on this environmental issue, environmental conditions, and all. But I'm going to play it later. For the time being, I would like to shed some light on how and why do we need to include film as a tool for climate advocacy and also for EFL learning. Learning and teaching as well. The films can be a really powerful tool to raise awareness about climate-related issues, and this is one of the great way to get our learners more engaged in not only buttressing their interest in having gainful and personal experiences in all the 4 basic skills that we tend to teach. And it's common knowledge that we can teach grammar and reading and writing and pronunciation all through films, and we have been doing it for a long time now. So it's nothing unusual to talk about including films as a means or as an end. Sometimes it can be an end in itself, sometimes it can be a means to optimize the output. Because when we talk of climate and environment and through films, there's loads of films, like tons of films of all genres, and we can choose any one of those genres. Could be feature, could be documentaries, could be full-fledged films, or could be comics, could be these days we know there's no dearth of movies, downloadable ones and free, and even children enjoy doing those comics, and Avatar being in the lead, films like science fictions. But I'm going to focus mostly on films that are dedicated to climatic issues, and I'll show you some of the drastic changes that's happening to our environment, and we need to inculcate right form of education among our learners. Of course, our objective will be how to handle the vocabulary, grammar, writing, doing the project works, and how to take the film to their life to become an advocate in the true sense and spread over the this slogan or mantra of how to save our climate. So just have a look on certain pictures and features that I have included in that will show us how
we have 0 years left to avoid dangerous climate change. You can
if you look at this climate change, we see half of this tree is parched, the other half is. So I'm getting a pop-up notice here about admitting the participants. So may I request to take care of this admitting of the new entrants in the session. So I'm admitting them on my.
Yeah, no. I'm doing that.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
so much. So
our greenery and vegetation have been the natural victim of our thoughtless act of felling trees, deforestation, and large-scale industrialization that has really paved the way for all the.
So in this slide, I can say that there's a code red for humanity, and we have 0 years left to avoid this climatic disaster if we don't act.
In one sense,
And this
but
is
also has brought about unimagined destruction. Science couldn't be clear about that. This is really a code red for all of us.
So-
And frost-free seasons and So you can see Austrian bushfire. I mean, this is a fire that rages for months, and no amount of advanced firefighting equipment or people behind those could really douse or combat this raging fire. You can see.
So these slides are like a spur to those who are really into this, genuine cause of climatic control, safety or diversity, biodiversity, and how to save our species, the disappearing species. And so I'm not going to play the whole video because it's pretty long. I'm showing some of the.
And India has been suffering in the form of locust attacks in 25 years. Now, probably it sounds bizarre that how could a climate change could bring about, war-like situation from the locusts on the vegetation, but it happens because if they're driven away from their habitats, they're going to go somewhere, and they will be attacking. So the sea level rise 1 to 8 feet by 2,100. I'm 2,100. I mean, it's like not far away. It's just 80. I mean, in less than 80 years, because of global warming, permafrost and ice are melting massively the poles, increasing the sea level at a rate never known before. And we experience on a daily basis what kind of erratic changes in the weather phenomena and weather pattern is being witnessed all over the world. In a century, the increase reached 18 centimeter. I mean, 100 years. The last.
So, are you planning to run the
6
video?
centimeter in the last 20 years. I mean, it's like.
No, actually,
I'm
just showing some of the snippets of, and then I'll switch over to the.
1 meter rise is going to spell disaster from majority of the.
So I might come back to these slides just to impress upon.
The sea level, I mean, next to the sea level, and they're going to be submerged. The acidification of the ocean is also another great concern. In fact, a large amount of CO2 captured by the ocean makes them more acidic.
So
arousing serious questions
for now,
seashells or coral shells.
I'm going to stop.
Look at these graphs. These emissions of greenhouse gas worldwide, 1990 to 2010. You can see the methane gases rise, carbon dioxide. It's like hopping amount of unimaginable amount of carbon dioxide being added. Probably because of transport, because the industry is heavy industry. Because
let me stop this.
Felling of the trees, and you see global greenhouse gas
enough to give you an idea of how bad the situation is and how we can we really need to come into the scene.
Carbon dioxide, that's fossil fuels and industrial processes, accounts for 65%. Just imagine how huge the impact that our Earth is going to have with this. So global warming is a phenomenon of climate change characterized by.
So it's a stop now. I'm stop sharing it, and I'll go to the share again to get my slide, which will be in the so not this one. In fact, I'm looking for my slide. So all right, so hold on a sec. It seems like I have opened so
Sometimes
many. I've opened so many tabs that
it happens.
yeah. So all right, so, new share, chat, Bing. All right. Anyway, in the previous session, while I've looked for my slides, those which I don't know, I would like you guys to ponder over this issue and get me some ideas of how best to involve our young learners or adult learners into this campaign, because this is not just about teaching English through environmental awareness. It's all about making them a responsible citizen, in fact. So May I ask you guys, those who are into the, please give me some input in the chat box. How possibly, we can, as a teacher, as an educator, or as an activist. I would like to hear something from in the chat box.
So, do you want us to share the ideas?
Yes, yes, in the chat
teaching
box.
methodologies
Yeah.
or the teaching practices about how to deal with
Anything
this
that
topic
comes
of-
to pops up in the mind of those participants regarding how to go for an advocacy or promote the awareness regarding the, so that'd be great because I can build on that. And it's more about discussing the things than actually all right, yeah. And familiarize learners with the work of a supreme Indian activist. Vandana Shiva was written 20 books on the topic. All right, now, since this is a very pressing issue, after reading the book, we can have some information, some knowledge about. But in the true sense, we cannot have the urge to work for the, I mean, how possibly we can promptly act, I mean, in our own unique ways, smaller ways. Any idea on that? Anything else that's coming to the, okay, here I am now, I'm back to my slides, and
Okay.
I have plenty of things to discuss. So I'm going to show you the latest news that has come today, and I'll show you how I mean, our jungle, our Mother Earth can provide us survival instinct and can save us even the direst of situations. Today, I mean, the Colombian children survive 40 days in Amazon, and how they survived, this is incredible. And they were lost in a wreck, and they survived on the plants, on certain local foods. And it's incredibly interesting because this is how we are born
It's a
to.
story of 4 Colombian children. They survived a deadly plane crash. And that's not all. They also lived through the dangers of the Amazon for 40 long days.
You can use the share
I want
this
you to
out
know their names
computer
first.
option that is available
Leslie,
on Zoom,
Jacobo,
so
Bonte.
that all of us can hear this news report.
Okay, you can't hear it?
So far, no.
Oh, okay. So I need to use the audio from. So how do I share it? I mean, like it's inside the slide, You can't hear the. All right, 1 minute. This is okay. Now I need to go to use the speaker from.
You need to go to the bottom of the Zoom.
Okay.
You can see reactions, apps, whiteboard, and then you can see more.
Yes.
And there,
Reactions, participants, yeah.
or you know what you can do? You can go to the mic
All right.
icon.
Yeah, I went to the mic. Yes.
Mic icon, and there you can
Speaker, same as system. Switch to phone audio. Leave computer audio. This is computer audio. Audio setting. So this is yeah. This is okay.
But in more, I think in more you will see that option. Share the computer sound.
Okay. All right. General. So audio. Audio setting?
Not exactly the audio setting.
But ideally, you should have the.
Not in the audio setting.
Okay.
Can you see
All right.
reactions, apps, and whiteboards, and then you can see more.
Now-
And you can see 3 dots. Yeah. Okay.
Is 13
Can you hear?
years old.
Can you hear?
So Leslie Rannoch
No.
is 9.
You want me to go to Zoom 3 dots? All right. Yeah, 3 dots. Yeah, more. Yeah. Record this, record the captions, reactions, the remote control, shared sound. Yeah. I've shared the sound now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's see whether it works now. Okay. So
Just click on share sound and play the video, and hopefully we will listen to the sound.
okay. All right.
Now, it seems the
All right. I'm back to the video now. So,
Yeah. Now we can hear the voice from the video.
oh great, oh
Please
great.
click now.
Okay, good that you fixed this, because I have lots of videos to show, and it will have been a problem. So this is the news for today, and I wanted to have you guys to have a look at this jungle and see how dense.
Tien Noriel Rannoch is merely 4, and the youngest of them, Christian Nariman Rannoch, just turned 1. These are the children who lost their mother. They wandered around in the Amazon forest and came out on the other side. On the 1st of May, the children were aboard an aircraft. They were flying from Araraquara to San Jose del Gobernar with their mother.
So my idea of showing this video is that our
the
Mother
rainforest
Nature
park.
Earth can support us, can give us nourishment, even the worst of our survival conditions. And this is what it has done for these 4 kids who were saved after a pretty long time of their probably 34 days inside, lost in the jungle. And it's an incredible story. We are born to live in the lap of nature, whether it's in any form, we talk about. So needless to add to the importance that we must teach at any level the kind of environmental awareness that we have got to so okay, can you see this cutiepod.com, right?
We can see the link.
Yeah. So I'm going to this link, and I'm going to ask some questions based on the input. So hopefully the audio should work. I mean, there may be not any audio here, but there are certain questions that I want all the participants to ponder over. In a few words, what is the purpose of using films for climate? For climate advocacy, what is the purpose? Is the purpose to watch the video for entertainment, or is something else? Can I have some input in the chat box to discuss environment challenges? Right, Mr. Pankaj, yes. It's all about getting to know our earth closely and how to seek nourishment from. Now look at this. Conservation methods can help protect and restore ecosystem. Of course, we are dwindling environmental forestry. Amazon is disappearing. We have loads of interventions in one way or other, but still there is a lot left to have in store for us. Conservation methods can help protect and restore ecosystem. Now, the word ecosystem itself is very compound, and it connotes a lot of baggages in it. Now, if I may question this the word ecosystem, if I'm going to teach it in this class, how do I describe it? How do I define it? How do I show that the ecosystem is not just one system? It's a system of all the natural phenomena and manifestations in one way or the other. Now, we all are practitioners in the EFL classroom. Any idea of how to teach this vocabulary word ecosystem through film? We can have images, we can have films. Now, there's a question here, should conservation of nature be a personal responsibility, or should society be held accountable for its protection? Is it individual, or is it in unison, or is it just one government, or is the world government? Yes, we can teach vocabulary reading, have discussion related to environment. Of course, yes. Environment is itself, it's a very wide word that includes everything. Whatever happens all around us can be included in environment. So I'm asking pertinent questions. Is it individual level? Of course, yes. Najar, yeah, it's a shared responsibility. No one can escape this. No one can blame, and we can't keep playing this blame game that it's not my job, it's none of my concern, it's okay, there's enough water for us, it's not going to be, and it's always replenished. That's not the scenario. In fact, the third world war, if it's going to happen, God forbidding, is going to be for water. So water conservation is another important issue, and that we can teach through our film. What is conservation? This is a poll, actually. I may not conduct the poll in reality, because I don't have much time to go for polling. But there are three options here. Could you please give me one of the options in the chat box? I could have set up this as a poll. Is it the act of preserving, protection, management of natural resources? Or is it the act of exploiting natural resources? Or is it the act of destroying? Is it destroying? It can't be destroying, right? Can it be exploiting? Can it be exploiting or destroying? Obviously, because the picture shows, and the picture tells a lot. Support planet, your local. That means if you take care of a local planet, local environment, probably the rest part of the world will be taken care of, rest part. So support, it's always an act of preserving, protecting, and managing natural resources, right? Right? Yeah, conservation to save and protect, of course, yes. So there's another pertinent question here, which talks about sustainable development manages resources for present and future generations. Now, if we don't take care of our present generation, there won't be any future generation. In fact, I'm sorry to say that. So it's a sustainable development meets needs without hurting future generation. Now, when we talk of sustainable, does it last for longer time or shorter time? I'm keeping an eye on the chat box, so please do participate and engage, because this is something not to philosophize or to preach about. This is something to feel about, to engage, to really contribute towards not only understanding inside the cloud but outside also. Because being a climate activist and all that, I really feel I'm from the bottom of my heart when something goes wrong, and I can't bear to see our Mother Earth being disturbed or ravaged or any form. Yeah, it's long term. Yeah, so sustainably, obviously, it refers to long term conservation, long term care, and Earth is going to survive, and we are going to live for a couple of thousands of years. So obviously, if we don't take care of now, there will be no bright future, and all the resources we are getting into, they are readily available to exploit, because it's cosmetic industry and all the farmings and all, they are all already using, and they have loads of destructions already done. So what is being left must go to or switch over to the recyclable and such kind of things. Sustainable use refers to what? Now I have the choices here. Could you please choose one of them? Is it using natural resources in a way that doesn't deplete them for future generations? It seems like this should be the right answer, yeah? Or is it a consideration to the future? Actually, when we talk about sustainable, it's long term, and someone rightly pointed that. Yeah, it is a long term, so it's consideration for the future. It's not for immediate purpose. We're not use. Use. Greta has tried a lot of mainstream attention that she managed to divert it. Yeah, she is one of the youngest activists. She has rocked the whole world. She gave a wake up call to all the world government, and we had climate control bodies, and we have all the world bodies and all the time we're talking about, and we are actually advancing to a zero emissions with the EVs and electric vehicles, and hopefully, I'm really hopeful about that. Things are going to be rosy, much more pleasant than we have it now, because we are switching over from coal based, thermal based, and all. It could be either nuclear, zero emissions, it could be cleaner, greener, and more sustainable kind of energy. Now the timber industry started to adopt sustainable practice, like whatever we had a paper and all we do, we're not cutting trees, felling them. So felling the trees is stopped altogether. We are going for synthetic material for our, whether it's tissue boxes, tissue papers, and global fisheries have adopted several sustainable practices. Now there are 4 here. Rotation of catches. Now if you talk about rotation, what is rotation? That means we are not replenishing, and we keep replenishing it. We're not overexploiting it, and we review it, how much fish we can get, how much fish we have to leave for regenerations, or harvest reduction. We don't have to harvest the full sum, and there is a fishing. Actually, there is a moratorium ban on blue whales and all that for 10 years, and that's become a law. And we have been able to conserve so many of the blue whales, and we have greater numbers, including tigers and saber-toothed, and also. So the whole concept of conservation, the ecosystem, and biodiversity. Now I want you to spend a minute to read this, so that we can explain to our learners in EFL classrooms what do these basic concepts mean, and how we are going to. Yes, sustainability is when you follow triple bottom line. If you're doing any action, it must be environment-friendly. Great. Yes, Maria Buto, yeah, you're right. We have to have a full-scale, adoption of a policy which is for the ecosystem. It's never against the system. Conservation practice focuses on the 5 few species benefit entire ecosystem. The good thing is that it is called butterfly effect. What you do here at home and in your house, whatever you're littering or decluttering and all that, it will have ramifications, will have resulting impact on the whole world. So it's called butterfly effect. It's the entire ecosystem is in chains, and look at this, water mammals and the habitat and species, and how they're protected and how they share our ecosystem all over the world. I want again you to spend a minute on this and see the present scenario. In some countries, conservation of wildlife is considered a form of art. That means this is to draw attention towards the people of how best we can engage in protecting our natural habitat. This is like tangible and intangible resources, and the world body, the UNESCO, has already has a policy where they include some of the tangible and intangible resources under protection law. For example, the Japanese practice of sharing yoko or forest bathing is a form of conservation that has been practiced for centuries. So one of the biggest wildlife is illegal poaching. That means people killing for elephants for their tusks, for medicinal, herbal, and some of the bad practice in it. So poachers kill over 100,000 elephants. We are protecting it, and the Ocean Ecosystem Treaty was signed. Yeah, you're right. Yes. 2022 Ocean Treaty is signed. Yes, and there is a moratorium and the fishing moratorium in here. Live stream poison. Yeah, you're allowed. You cannot eat money. Yeah, you're right. And then we have Yellowstone National Park. I think it's in US, and it was established to protect the area unique geothermal features. That means you cannot disturb this. Now this is a campaign. Now looking at this picture and all, what conclusion can we draw, and how can we include in this EFL ESL classroom to our learners, young learners, adult learners, and those who would like really to contribute to the project? So this could be a project where what are some of the ways the individuals and community can work together, combat, fight. So it's a relentless fight. We need to wage a war against those who are ravaging, who are bringing bad damage, and who are not thinking. And so it's a conservation issue is not one individual or community, or it's at large. The responsibility of everybody involved, because we all are beneficiaries of this, biodiversity in one way or the other. So this could be one of, communities can, of course, create new programs, say locally, because, can you name a program like, conservation? If I have to name a program, what would you, Mr. Pankaj, what would you name it? I want you to come up with a, like sloganeering, a kind of clarion call for creating a mass movement, or at least a local community movement. Can you think of a slogan? Like I can give you one, like that's very common, like each one plant one. Like we say in our transform towards clean energy, go green. Great, I liked it. Yes, each one plant one, each one lends your hands, or just like we do it in education field where illiterates can always be taught by the literates, like each one teach one. So why not each one plant one? Why not each one pick one? Why not each one declutter one? I mean, we can go for loads of such. Stop waste, start save. Very, very good. Yes, that's great. Start saving, conserving, and yes, and stop overdoing, over exploiting. Project Tiger. That's right. That's true. That's great. Our Prime Minister has started this project, saving the tiger, and it has rocked. It has created a wave on the rest of the world where everyone is thinking of, oh, really, they're precious to us. So protecting Earth's resources helps protect our future. It's Environment Protection Agency was created in 1970. Here are some of the moves that we have. The EPA develops policy and regulations to protect the environment. Legislation helps to protect environment and endangered species. Now, it could be by bringing laws, by bringing punitive acts, by bringing penalties, hefty penalties, like if you litter, you're going to pay for it. And if you want to live in the clean air and clean water, and if you want to protect and want the natural habitat, you're going to pay for it, paying through penalty, paying through awareness, paying through. So, there are ways where this is how we conserve. National Park Service has managed public lands. Yes, what about stopping private jets? Of course, that's a great idea. Yes, why not? They are simply ravaging the air, sky, and it's a sound pollution, it's jet airs, and there are all kinds of propeller engines and all fossil fuel. But we have a hope that we are going to EVs, jets, very soon we'll have helicopters, EVs helicopters, electrical vehicles, like on the street, we'll have cars, also in the air we'll have electric vehicles. You don't have, because they control the planet. All the private jets flew to Davos this year for the climate meeting. Okay, we don't have to be so pessimistic about this. Obviously, in order to gain wider acceptance and doing the bigger goals, we have to sacrifice a bit. So they will have to use, because their time is precious, and it's fine. Once a year or 2 or 5 years, and if all the world bodies can meet, go to the Davos and take some decisions, and look at that. They are the ones they will take decisions to stop all of this, and they're taking good evening, welcome. So what environmental conservation issues are important to you, and why? Now this is the video I started with. Why I started with, because in this video I have in fact incorporated all kinds of world destructions, world news from all over the world, where we have wildfires, raging wildfires. We have lately there was acid rain, and there was a smog in Canada. The forest fire burnt, and then it's affected the all states of USA, and in fact it was almost invisible. The planes were grounded, And it was a situation, it was an alarming situation. I will show you that video. I have got it. Okay, so there are several ways people can help protect the environment. The conservation is like, look at this guy, system technologies, yeah, human activity. Of course, yeah, we are responsible. Who is setting them? It happened in Australia earlier, and 1.25 billion animals, plants died. Yeah, yes. I mean, sometimes it's a brazen act of, bad guys. They do the forest burning on purpose. And sometimes it's accidental, so we sometimes really don't know, because this kind of forest fire is never ending. It takes months to quell that and burning, and all the helicopters pressed in service, they can't do it. So it's a natural disaster. So we can't help that, in fact. So now the question is, what are some ways that the 9th grade student can help conserve their local environment? I mean, it could be young boys, who are just stepping into the adult world. Yeah, could you please share some of in your class and private that center around film use in environment concerns? Yeah, surely, yes. I'm going to include some of the movies, their names and all. Yes, so if you want me to go to those movies where, yes, I'm going to share, and don't worry about that. I have plenty of movies which will be centered around film use environment concerns. Yes. What is one way to conserve energy? Of course, minimize the usage of, yes, we do plantations. What is the most effective way to use films to promote climate advocacy? Now, I'm coming to that, Now, tell me, which kind of films do we promote, and how do we promote it? Promote climate advocacy so it is obviously a film that's based on giving a call, or showing the devastations in the true sense. So if you read this, you will get to know the climate impact. And yes, movies can raise concern in the young generation who is struck by a word. Yeah, obviously they will get to identify themselves with the problems instantaneously, and they don't need to read books and all that. Now, because children love animals a lot, what are some of the most powerful films that have been made about climate change? You guys, I'm asking you, there is one movie based on elephant that was given a best documentary award, and probably that's from India. So I want you to get the name of the movie. This is a bit of challenge for you. It's a well-known movie. It's got one of the best documentary awards. Anyone out there who could guess? Whispers. Wow, Alianas. Yes, it is Whispers. Yeah, yes. There is a wall E with my students. Yes, of course we are aiming for one word, and what can filmmaker do to make the films more effective in terms of climate advocacy? So they have to zero in the fauna, the flora, the kinds of rare species, those species are going to extinct. Also giving a clarion call for climate justice systems and effective studies the filmmakers can use. They can use the audience by engaging them in a short movie, like clips. It could be one act play, it could be documented from the BBC, from the other sources which are authentic in the material. So what are some of the unique strengths of using films to advocate for unique climate change? Can you guys come up with some of the unique strengths of films, like audiovisual impact? Apart from audiovisual impacts, what are the other things that really make movies different from can you give me some ideas, guys? Okay, now I'm coming back to my slides where I have got loads of films, and I'm going to give you a number of like sequels and inconvenience. Have you heard of an inconvenient sequel? Truth to Power? Guys, it's a documentary film that explores the impact of climate change and highlights solutions to mitigate it, directed by Bonnie Cohen and John Shanks. Chasing Ice. Any idea about Chasing Ice? Now, all these movies are great in one sense or the other. Now, depends upon how you're going to implement into class. I'm going to show you how the lesson plan can hover around these movies and how we can have a great lesson plan in maximizing the engagement and also teaching apart from basic 4 skills, also assigning as an assignment. Yeah, movies to show the biodiversity scenario and discussions researches pros and cons of introducing genetically modified organism in environment. Okay, you're talking about GM foods and GM organ. Yeah, probably young learners may not be very pretty aware of this, but obviously, one day they will get to know about GM, genetically modified food, because all around, and we get all those shiny apples in the stores, organic food and organic food. So teaching environmental awareness through various genres, short films, could be short films, right? It could be documentaries, feature film. It can be meaningful discussions. It can also enhance the language skills, global perspective on environmental issues. Now when we talk of global perspective, we don't talk about our local flora and fauna. It's all about the whole gamut of. Now some of the short films I've already made a list of this, a bucket list. I wanted to include all of these into my. So Matrix animation 2003, this is a humorous take on factory farming, the importance of sustainable agriculture. Then we have animation Story of Stuff. This explores the life cycle of consumer goods and highlights the impact of overconsumption waste. Now the whole problem of is this overconsumption. That means we are not being judicious in our usage, and we are always overexploiting, simply thinking of that we are the only ones who use this, and that's not the scenario. In fact, we need to take care of others also. A Smog of the Sea. It's a sailing expedition reveals the prevalence of plastic pollution in oceans. Then we have Inconvenient Truth, Chasing Coral, Plastic Planet. We have feature films like Wall-E that someone already mentioned about, the Lorax animation based on Dr. Seuss' book. I don't have time to, otherwise I would have played it for a while, a minute or so. Avatar, of course, this is also a fictional world, but in fact it highlights the impacts of resource extraction, important respect to indigenous culture. How are we going to teach indigenous, the word indigenous in our classes? That means unique to that place, unique to the people around, is specific. After watching a feature film, we can engage them in discussion, environmental themes, we can have character motivations, and also real life situation. Like they can become the advocate, they can be the president, the prime minister, they can be the activist, they can have the whole kind of parliamentary sessions, they can have the reviews, the films, role plays, debates, environmental topics. Also, we need to choose the appropriate age appropriate films. Like we have talked about so much in the previous sessions, or how we as teachers, we have to be very careful about not simply using YouTube videos altogether. We have to be very cautious about choosing the type of film, because there could be profanity, could be not age specific, there could be some adult only meant for adults, movies meant for adults. So there are some guardrails and all. So the film clips, the best thing about is that we have climatic related documentaries, and those are from Geography Channel. BBC has got plenty of movies on environmental issues. Also the textbook, and I'm teaching textbook Unlock, where I come across loads of from Cambridge, and they're the really authentic material to use. We don't have to worry about what are we going to teach, and we can straight away play those videos as a icebreaker, as a starter and prompts, and also we can organize all the basic activities all around debate also. So this is one of the typical language plan, lesson plan of intermediate to advanced, 60 minutes. The material will be an Inconvenient Truth, Chasing Ice, Before the Flood, 11th Hour, the Island. We can choose any one of them. This is all fine. Just select one. We'll have the whiteboard, Philippa, markers, and procedure will be like as we traditional classroom. Anything that we teach, obviously we go by transitioning. So transitioning is very important, because the best lesson will fall flat if we don't have the correct transitioning, if we don't have the correct messages, and we have to have the right feedback and assignments, and based on that, depending on how much can you afford to spend on watching movie and give, because we have loads of curriculum and syllabus. To tell you the fact, we don't get much time to include movies in our like we can't afford to. They will be tested, and they have to be, grade specific criteria, and they have to work on that. They cannot afford to keep, it could be set up as an homework, as an additional group projects by selecting any clip. It could be even a clip and a part of the clip. So there could be some open-ended questions, like these are the questions that that are great inputs, and we can always put them in the group, and they can always discuss these things in the smaller groups or bigger groups, or with so these are important questions that should. And these are the steps that climate change. In 15 minutes, divide the class into small groups. Then each group should discuss and brainstorm practices, encourage activities, creative thinking. Also, creative thinking is very important, because that's the 21st century skill that we keep talking about. How do we encourage the critical thinking? Unless they have the decision making, and they engage in, like so. There are some extension activities also. These are the vocabulary words we can teach them through, like carbon footprint, renewable energy, climate change, engage, study, practice. We can also ask them to reflect. And there are obviously lots of extension activities that we can include, those will, depending upon how much you can afford to, or your institutions or the manager of your school allows you. So it depends upon, these are some of the, a list of the movies that actually there are so many. And I have also tried how to teach grammar, like if, unless, until, condition clauses through this film. Like if we don't conserve the water, and what would happen, like the resultant impact. So we can weave around all the grammar activities, writing and listening activities by playing the tapes. This is an ocean. This is a great film, The Plastic Ocean. Then we have environmental disaster causes and solutions. We have climate change, the movie. Actually, I'm shuffling through all of these because I don't think I'm left with much time now. So disabling rainforests, very important. And this is the movie. This is the condition. I was talking about this. How this movie. Actually, this movie was displayed all around, and this has caused havoc in the whole of the United States. If you can watch for a minute or 30 seconds, just to see how is the condition. This is the upblaze, like. Okay, so this is the movie. This is the scenario. See the haze. It is called smog. Smoke plus. What is a smog? Plus haze. Like there are some carbon monoxides and those kind of things that have lethal impact on health conditions, right? Right. Yes, no information of animals and plants destroyed. Yeah, obviously, yes. They cannot show everything here. So, yes, the focus is on, you're right, but if you watch the whole of the videos, and we'll get to know about, look at this bird, what is she up to? Such a filthy, and see this, chart, the tree conditions, and how can we teaching environment awareness through various journals, short films. And so now I have loads of images, brilliant. These images that tell us about the sad story of fog plus smog is smog. Yes, Maria, yeah, you're right. Yes, fog, smog is smog, and we all together suffering. And I'm based in Delhi. Delhi is notorious for this, because Punjab they burn the crops, and it reaches all parts of the island. See the industrial pollutions that are happening all around the world, and we have this solar powered, wind powers and gas. So, and this is the extinct animal that reminds of how reckless we have been, and they're disappearing altogether. Now, I was talking about the English videos, like simple videos, where we have all of these videos available here, simple English videos. Actually, it was also shown, and you can go and search. As an instructor, we can have videos, all kinds of videos here. So there's no dearth of videos as long as, but it's all about what elementary, intermediate, advanced, and we can choose the topics. We can have the grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, everyday English, songs, stories, hangover, business thing, all that. We can have plenty of resources, and there's no problem in getting hold of these. So the thing is, it's all boils down to the fact that how carefully and how wonderfully we employ this in our day-to-day teaching, and how we inculcate the environment awareness among our young learners, young buddies, and how they become a climate activists in the long run, and they're familiar with all the lexes, all the kind of advocacy through chunks of language, the kind of obviously a major part of our job lies in not only creating an awareness among them, also teaching the language, and that's what we are meant for. I think I've shot a couple of minutes. I'm supposed to wind up now because there was no indication from my host to stop. So I getting encouraged. I kept on going. I don't know whether I overshot, and so this is the last dodo bird and extinct species that I always remember, and we could have saved them, like they would have been saying hello to us if they had not been, like this is the environmental changes that have got these birds and all extinct. So these are some of the movies, Plastic Oceans and Before the Flood. Thank you so much being with me, for letting me enlighten upon this crucial aspect of which concerns all of us equally, and we cannot fight. We cannot fight it alone. We cannot shy away from this. So from my side, that's all. There is a Mentimeter. I have some questions there. The thing is, if there are some questions, please feel free to shoot them. I don't hear anything from my host. Am I audible? Hello? Okay.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
you are.
Yes, you are.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
you are.
you.
Sorry, I was a little bit busy with.
Okay.
Okay.
This form and all,
So,
yeah. You have been doing your
Thank you so much.
you were doing your mandated job, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Dr. Mohammed, for introducing us with to lots of issues, like through images and videos and some ideas that you have shared with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, now I have shared the Google form, which is open to accepting your responses. Please fill it out so that we can send you the certificates of attendance for this session. So, you shared some ideas with us where we can use these videos, images, and films to discuss these issues related to environment. So, what do you think about the students' perception of this problem? Do you think that our youth, the teenagers, they really grasp the seriousness of this issue?
Unfortunately, teenagers, they are pretty aware of what's happening around, but they're living in an illusionary world of their own. They think there are magic solutions to these problems, even if they're aware of the problems, because they think as their life is easier with the technology, these issues can be resolved overnight. So we need to impress upon them that the scenario is not that rosy and they must participate. And this is like charity begins at home. We can teach them a lot in our classroom itself. Like I admire the Japanese students. They're made to clean their own classrooms. They're made to clean their own utensils and tiffin boxes and all that. Only then they start their classes. So if I were the manager of an institution, I would have mandated everybody to do that.
That's great. Yeah, you're right. So how would you compare, like for example, in my class, if I bring a published article about environmental changes for students to read, or if I bring a video or a film based on environmental issues, so how would you compare between these two resources?
Now the thing is that advanced learners, if the research-based article is brought into the class, depending on their linguistic ability and their competence level, if they can have, they have a critical thinking and they can read between the lines, the messages, underlying messages, it's fine to introduce them and then do a lot of brainstorming session with them, because they will have to come up with the ideas their own. We don't have to give the solutions. They will brainstorm the problem, they will come with the solutions. Then we also screen those solutions, whether they're workable or how far they're effective, whether they can be, they're plausible or implausible, and they can't be far-fetched, and we can't say, okay, stop using the car, and that's not a solution. Then the smaller, there are comics and there are certain comical scenes and all where they're made to realize that something has fallen on the ground and one has to pick, and so the grandmother, grandfather, the home housekeeping is one way of contributing to it. Like if we take care of our own litters, it's definitely going to make the world a lot more cleaner then.
Thank you. During your talk, you talked about one course book that is Unlock.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you seem to have had an experience with that book. So how that book deals with environmental issues? Does it come with other audio-video resources, and how those resources actually helped you? Using in your class.
The Unlock series all center around promoting critical thinking among adult learners, and it's all well researched, good videos, good input, loads of questionnaires, prompts, material for brainstorming, also for campaign, and also about group formations and coming what. So, and also they have used the actual videos from actual locations, and there's nothing imaginary or fictitious about that, and it's very authentic video. Obviously there are years of research has gone into that. There's a very good series, and they have dealt with environmental disaster of some sort, then jobs like chasing the twister tornadoes, and people endangering themselves to safeguard the lives of people, and so the theme based, and sometimes it's pointed at environmental protection, sometimes it's indirect reference to how to save our. Also talks about tangible, intangible resources, like how to preserve our legacy, our things from the past, how to retain our culture, and there say 7 to 8 units. It's a wonderful series. And
my purpose was not to promote that series in any way, sorry, but I actually asked this question because we have had this discussion that what's the difference between these textbooks or these course books which come with audiovisual resources or some features, and authentic materials that we can collect from internet, from books, from newspapers. So, any other question? I would like to leave the platform open for audiences, for our attendees, if they have any question or suggestion or a comment to make.
Actually, most of the series come with as an opener and icebreaker as a video and audio. This is no strange thing nowadays. Every textbook.
That's true. That's true. It's a common practice these days.
Yeah, it's common practice.
Exactly.
And that's
as
yes. Yeah. So go ahead. Yes.
Environmental issues are they are like equally devastating or effective for all the people, whether they're living in Eurocentric world or Asia or Africa or whatever region of the world. So it's a kind of topic which actually is easy to insert in any course outline, syllabus, textbook, course book, something like that. So and there's a lot of material to talk about, lot of things to talk about.
Right.
Any ideas from our attendees? The way you might have used a film or a short video related to environmental issues, we would love to hear that. So, Dr. Pankaj has a question.
Yes, showing.
Pankaj,
Yes, yeah, I can see that. A video documented the students on environmental issues. Then students work in groups to create a conservation program. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yes, they can come up with their own, solutions or come up with own campaign. Actually, it's called campaign. With a slogan, we can give them marker and chartboard, and they can put their slogan on the wall. They can also be the activist. We can create a kind of scenario where yes. Also, they can record themselves, audio, video. They can go to the actual places also to see what's happening. They can also film, places where people behave irresponsibly. They litter around. They don't care, and they can have pamphlets, pamphlet making. They can have a small, kit presentation also, a small kit where they will have they will impersonate as monkeys or animals or as animals, as trees, as leaves and yes, infographics. Yeah, obviously, yes. Yeah, Pechakaja. Yeah, you're right. This is a wonderful program. Yeah. In Japan and China, yeah, yes, they use it. Pechakaja. This is to explore spoken, to enhance spoken competence. Speaking. It's a group activity. Yeah, you're right. Yes, that's right. Yes.
This reminds me of a course that I taught sometime before. It was technical English. The purpose of that course was to teach students how to write, how to analyze a brochure, how to write instructions for a machine, how to write a description of, or not the description, but you can say precautionary measures or how the instructions to use a machine and like some warnings. And there were some other technical aspects of writing with them. So one of the assignments was to analyze a brochure. So there, I divided the students into groups and I assigned them different brochures which were related to pollution, sea pollution, air pollution, land pollution, like industrial pollution, solid pollution. And then I asked them to analyze that document, analyze the audience, design element, color, language, and all that. So there, students came up with lots of good ideas like is this message clear to the audience? Are the images appropriate? Is the language for the general public or for experts? So that there I saw that when students look at that aspect of language and when they connect that aspect of language with the environmental problems, they really understand, they really connect the dots together, that what is happening and what we have to do.
Actually,
that was a great experience for me.
Yeah, you're right. That the young learners, they will always leave you surprised, and astonishingly, they are quite good at coming up with the brilliant ideas of their own. We cannot think of, to what extent they can come up with. And literature or pamphlet is it's a quick way of looking at the problems and all that, and it gives a snippet of what quickly can be done. And we can also, organize some sort of festivals, fest. We can take them for expedition, actual expedition, a small group of children for an expedition nearby places, maybe aquarium to show them the dolphin, maybe some of the plantations, some of the, depending upon how.
That's great. So, Dr. Muhammad, would you please explain one specific activity, for example, maybe you did it for writing or reading, that you used in your class with your students using films and like combining it with or linking it with environmental issues?
Yeah, actually, I played my own video, which with loads of instances all over the world, and then I wanted them to categorize them according to the severity of the environmental damages and situations, and in unison they came up with like deforestation, denudation of the and felling of the trees, and it has done a lot of harm to the environment. And they came up with the idea of how not to plant some of the in our own campus. So we are going green here in Saudi Arabia, and we have gone for lots of vegetation these days. We get to have fresh foods, fresh vegetables from our own sort of local market. And so obviously, when it comes to, and I keep asking them, do you get the food and vegetables from India or and Pakistan and all this? They say no, it's local and from Aba and Khamis Mushed. So this is like identifying your own problems with own solutions. What works for you cannot work for others. So internalizing the idea of getting to feel, and also about some animals like camel. We talked about, I've showed the videos about camel herding, camel milking, camel in the, and we have tribal students also. They came up with great ideas. Now it's a whole world out there. There's no end of it. If I keep on giving you, it's not just about, it's all about, I can hundreds of lectures primarily dedicated to environmental. Primarily, like we need to understand this comes from biology, comes from biodiversity, ecosystem, butterfly effect, and all that. So while teaching, like through films and environment, we will come across, like yesterday we had teaching intonations, utterances, and giving a call for. So we can teach also, phonetics through films. We can, yeah. So it depends how we capitalize these movies. Maybe short clips. Even clips, but I want advice to go for short clips like TikTok and all that, because TikTok doesn't tease your inner critical thinking ability. It's a fleeting glances of illusional and you transport into another world. It doesn't tease you, it doesn't tax your brain to think. So videos based on where we have actuals, and you have to have identify and immerse yourself into that scene. Unless you immerse yourself and get to realize, it has to be empathetic. Also, like one movie, one film was shown by Doreen, where the one family was shown, and brother and sister and mother and all that, and they were all cooperating with, and how the girls' predicament in the society, the inferior, was shown through that movie. They may not be very charming to look at, but the idea, the messages. So we don't have to go those Cannes type of glossy films and all that.
That's true. And thank you for all these suggestions. Once again, one reminder to fill out that form, and if we have any question, Dr. Muhammad is here for a few more minutes before we finish the session. So Dr. Pankaj has shared one thing: the great learning of how to utilize visual aids, especially films, educate, engage, and assess students. So, Dr. Pankaj has used the word assess.
Assessment,
is-
yeah, I was going to include that. Assessment, per se, it could be vocabulary, grammar, always you can, as a practitioner, you always, tweak around the topic to, harness these kind of, but the project-based learning, like project, assign them a project and give them some sort of leverage, kind of autonomy to come up with and then assess the project as internal assessment. Informative assessment, not formative. Assign them some if you have the autonomy. Actually, we don't have autonomy to grade the students, but there are places where teachers can grade them. You can, always encourage them to come with their own assignment-based projects. Could be group, could be individuals, could be, we can always use this, doc, Google, where we can have a writing assignment. They contribute their part in the Google Doc, and they also give the headlines and headings, or together we pin them and then come up with one project. They can come and read their own project in the class, bring their own pamphlet, slogans. They can also organize,
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, with this idea of assessment, at which level of learning would you like to introduce environmental issues to your students?
Actually, this is not for too young learners, it is always be adult learners, young adult learners, because the gravity and the seriousness of the issue and coming up with the idea of obviously it takes some amount of linguistic repertoire, already commanding repertoire, otherwise they can't come up with them because they are bombastic, overdose of words, lexes, and we cannot explain environment without getting to know of those lexes. Now, if you talk about
but at earlier levels, like the videos can be very useful.
Earlier level, I would suggest that don't overwhelm them with these jargons of environment. Don't use those.
Like I saw a book, and that book was for grade 2 or grade 3. The title was Going, Gone. The book actually talked about the book actually talked about the problem like some species are
it's on its way to extinction, and it's going to it's on its somehow it gotten extinct, it's on its way to extinction, and the rest will go extinct. We will also go extinct. This is the way. If you don't take care of environment, we will go extinct one day.
So the book presented to very young learners like a big page length pictures, colorful pictures, and then one-liner descriptions. It's no more with us. This bird is no more with us. This fish is no more with us, like that. So there are different ways we can use images, like especially the visual impact of these different sources, which we can use even at younger learners.
Now, can I give an instance of a brilliant example of where we can have instant advocacy for environment? Like bring a jar of fish, and then take out one fish, leave it on the floor, panting for breath, and go out to the class, and ask every student not to touch, not to do anything, otherwise they will be punished. And when you come back, if you still find the fish outside, you think that means there's no one who has any care for the fish. If there is one among them who dare to put the fish back to the jar, that's it. The message is conveyed, and you can just tell the guy, that boy or the student, that this is how you have to act as an activist. Don't let fish die for want of care.
That's right. That's right. So it's 8 o'clock now. So we would like to say a big thank you to our presenter today, Dr. Muhammad Haseen Ahmed. And again, without all your participation, your time, your effort that you give us, these sessions would be impossible. Thank you for being here with us. I mean, to all attendees, all participants. And there has been a suggestion that one certificate should go to those, a special certificate should go to those who are actively participating through their ideas and discussions.
Yeah, engagement.
Exactly. So I don't know who mentioned that.
That's a brilliant idea. Like really, like
Maria Butto mentioned that.
Yeah.
Okay, Maria, we can think of a statement, and we can add that statement onto these certificates, and we can add that, and you can get rewarded for your active participation. Don't you worry.
Yeah, she has been she has been an avid participant right from day one, and yeah, that's great.
That's true. That's true, and we are very thankful to her for that. Thank you, everyone. So that we are moving to the end of the session, and we'll be sharing more ideas, more comments from participants to our presenters, and we are also planning a kind of open discussion, open forum, or a kind of panel discussion where all the presenters can jump in, and then they can discuss, they can answer questions in an open session from audiences. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot. Have a nice time. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.
You're welcome, all of you guys. It's my pleasure being with you guys, all distinguished selves, with loads of engagement and participation from everybody, and I'm really thankful to everyone, each one of you, especially the organizers and the prime mover, the lead player. It would be unfair not to say thank you to you, who has been instrumental in organizing all these wonderful sessions.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Recording stopped.
So, bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye.